What's going on, guys? Sasuke the Savage here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Hunter x Hunter chapter 379. Now, this chapter, I can finally say, this is the first time I said this in a long time about a Hunter x Hunter chapter, but there wasn't that much to talk about this chapter. It was relatively short, only 4 parts to talk about. Thank you, Tagashi. Now I can chill out, and we can just try to dive into this slow-like. The first part is Mizai Storm. He's investigating the situation with the 20 people murdered, and he's talking to one of the witnesses, and her name is Cashew, and she's giving her testimony of what happened. Now, her story is that the crescent moon scarred dude, and we learned his name is Looney, I believe his name is. She gives testimony that he killed this girl. After killing her, he locked himself in the bathroom, and then once the investigators showed up, he just disappeared. And Mizai Storm, he's like, obviously this has to be Nin, because there's no way he could have went through the toilet or anything like that. So yeah, he deduces that it's Nin, and yo, he tells Cashew, because she's crying. She's crying, talking about how the girl that Looney murdered was one of her friends, or not one of her friends, but someone that she met on a boat who she had a connection with, and she's acting distraught. And then Mizai Stone tells her to calm down, it'll be all right. Go to your room, rest. And it seemed to me that Mizai Stone, he bought the story. It seemed like that to me. I could be wrong, but it seemed like that to me. And remember, this dude is a crime hunter, so detective work that goes along with his line of duty, what he's good at. And he bought the story, and as soon as he leaves, right on cue, like the director just said that's it or something, Cashew immediately, she goes from crying to I was sitting there like, that was some of the best acting I've seen in Hunter x Hunter. Not that there's much acting in Hunter x Hunter, but that was some damn good acting. And for her to trick Mizai Storm, that's a feat. And yo, she's basically talking to the reader, and she's telling us that the whole story that she told Mizai Storm is BS with a little bit of truth mixed in. And basically what really happened is she's part of the Healy family. So just like Looney, she's trying to get experience points up as well, and she's trying to catch a couple of bodies. But unlike her friend Looney, she wants to take the slower approach to it. She doesn't want to make herself out in the open, so she's really down low with this. So yeah, that was her whole thing. She wants to take this one step at a time, not necessarily go out like Looney and just straight up murk everybody and be done with it. But that's it for the first part. The second part is Looney's ability. Now, I compared Looney's ability last chapter to No's ability to hide and seek. And whoa. Yeah. I'm sorry, No. I just disrespected your Nin ability, because this ability is trash compared to Nove, and I mean trash, because the conditions for it is just no, and the limitations for it are even worse. The conditions for his ability is that he has to be in a room where there is one door where there's no means of escape. So basically, he has to be in a room where he's basically trapped himself. That's the basis of his ability. He has to be in a room where he traps himself, and his ability allows him to, from that room, be able to go, I guess, like phase through the walls or through the floors. That's what his ability is. And it's like, okay. And then the limitation of his ability is that if that door is open in some way or broken down, he cannot use his ability on that same room again. It's done. So not only that, but the places he can go to, he can only go to a place where he's already been. So the limitations for his ability is too much to be called a good ability. I mean, he's been avoiding the spider troop, but no, this ability, I'm sorry, Nove, for comparing this dude to you, because this ability in comparison is trash. Then we have the lieutenant, I guess you can call him, or the vice boss, whatever, of the Cha'ar family. And I could have sworn now, it could have been a translation error, it happens sometimes, but I could have sworn last chapter his name was Oaken, and this chapter he says his name is Wang. Now, either translation error, Wang gets like his last name or something, or he's just straight up lying about his name to the Spider Troop. I have no idea which one of these it is, but I guess I'll call him Wayne from now until we get some clarification on that. But Wayne shows up and he's part of the Cha'ar family, and he's trying to figure out what is going on because I think 2 of his dudes died and 4 were kidnapped, and this is all thanks to Looney. So yeah, and it seemed like Looney was trying to frame the Spider Troop for all of this to make the Spider Troop and the Cha'ar family fight, but it could also be that he wanted to go to their hideout, because the Cha'ar family has some hideout on the 5th floor that has a locked room, so it fulfills his conditions to enter that room. But yeah, it seems like he's trying to make the Spider Troop and the Cha'ar family fight, which I don't know why Looney would try to do something like that, because he's just trying to kill people. So I don't understand why he would try to make them fight, but I guess maybe he wants to wait to their weekend and then swoop in and kill a nin user. That could be a possibility, but I don't know. I don't peg Looney as someone who would think that far, because look at him. But yeah, and the thing with Wang is that he doesn't fucks with the Spider Troop at all. He thinks that they blatantly show off their power and they have no regard for anyone, which is true. It's the Spider Troop. I mean, what do you expect? So he wants to take them out, but during the last page of the chapter, he says that he wants to work with them, which obviously you can't trust him whatsoever. And I don't know. Nobunaga was on his detective shit like Sherlock Holmes, because once they were following the bloody trails to find this hideout of the Cha'ar family, he was basically talking about, he was the one who deduced that maybe they're being framed by some third party to make them want to fight the Cha'ar family. I was like, Nobunaga? That just goes to show you that in a Hunter x Hunter world, you cannot be stupid and survive. Even someone like Nobunaga, who he doesn't seem like the brightest dude in the Phantom Troop, but by no means is he dumb, because it just seems like if you don't have a certain amount of intelligence in Hunter x Hunter, you're going to die. It's that simple. But yeah, that wraps up everything with the third part. And the last part is Franklin. Now, this, I didn't say in my last review, but I said it in my last discussion, that I hope that none of the Spider Troop members are by themselves. And Franklin, out of all people, is by himself. That really surprised me, because Franklin I pegged to be one of the smarter dudes in the Phantom Troop, and for him to be by himself, yeah, I don't think he should be doing that. And his ability out of the Phantom Troop is not that strong. I think Hisoka would toy with Franklin if they were to fight 1-on-1. So him being by himself, that's a boneheaded move, Franklin. But he's having a conversation with another vice boss of the Cha'ar family, Itoku or Itoku, whatever. And they're basically having a conversation about what's going on down on the 5th floor with the killing of the Cha'ar family members and how the Spider Troop might be involved. And Franklin basically denies that the Spider Troop has anything to do with it. He says, no, we don't operate like that. The only way we would attack you guys is if you guys attack first. We just don't operate that way, okay? And I don't know. It seemed like the dude wasn't really listening to Franklin. He was listening, but he was just like, he was kind of brushing Franklin off. And yeah, for the most part, their whole conversation really centered around what was going on with Phaeton, Nobunaga, and Finks. And pretty much that was their whole conversation about what was going on, and Franklin denying it, saying that, yeah, we just don't roll that way unless you guys did something to us first, we're not going to attack you. And Franklin's whole reason for being by himself was he figured Hisoka's trying to kill us. So I might as well just sit here in the cafeteria and wait for him. Franklin. Oh man, Franklin. And another thing, Franklin is a big boy. And like Squidward said in the episode of SpongeBob, a big boy gotta eat. Why was my boy Franklin eating crackers and a tiny little sandwich? Nah. He was eating the scraps basically, and this dude, this skinny old man, was up there eating steak, and then he didn't even eat it. He smoked the cigarette, alright, and then put the cigarette out on the steak. And I know Franklin was probably looking like, nigga, come on, man. You know I'm hungry. But that pretty much wraps up this chapter review. Yeah, this chapter was, I'll put it at okay. I really like the part, I really like the acting with Cashew and her tricking Mizastone. That's a pretty impressive feat. But pretty much everything else, like with Phaeton, Nobunaga, Finks, it was okay for the most part. But I think the most important information in this chapter was learning of Looney's ability and how trash it really is. So I think it's safe to say that Looney won't be a threat, and he'll probably be killed by one of the Phantom Troop members very soon. But that is it for the chapter review, guys. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm Sasuke Savage, and I'm out.